Hi, how are you? Things can be a little bit easier, but when they're harder, the work result is a lot better. So what I did in this next article is I worked on the word Philadelphia and Pennsylvania. Okay, now I didn't do the Pennsylvania, and I'm not going to do it in this one. I'm not sure. I'm a little tired. But Philadelphia, okay, starting with PH, it means business. Phil is the groundhog under the ground. Puxahony Phil, an Indian groundhog. The Indian represents the knowledge of underneath the ground of the groundhog, of what they do. They hang the chicken upside down and they let the bloods rot all over their head because the chicken's feet and nails have been plugging into the ground for their entire life of whatever it is, 6 months. And that information is transferred into the ground, and then in the nights, the mist brings it out of the ground and into the sky and transported on a Spanish train, because it goes in and there's a return. Once it goes in, it comes back with something else. It comes back with your brain with an add-on of what change the mind has to do from one side of the head to the other side of the head. Like you remember, I did in my video, we have two sides of our head, okay? And this disc sits in the middle, like a walnut. You have this side and you have this side, and this is the walnut. If you look inside the walnut how it's made, you'll see it's basically, if you blow into it, it's a vibrator that goes down to your nose. And your nose is the point center of your two eyes of the X. So in all actuality, when you want to see what your eyes look like, you see this way, you see this way, you see this way, you see this way.
Give Banatol a week and you'll see and feel the difference.
And
get a free supply of Banatol before they run out. 800-710-2140. That's 800-710-2140.
Basically like that.
You'll see the difference. 800-710-2140.
Okay, so now we have,
that's 1-800-710-2140.
you see,
I may look like a toy poodle, but
now we have this. Okay. Now I'm going to read it from my side and then I'll show you. Philadelphia cream cheese is a spread. So now we have to know that our mind was spread apart on one side and the other side. But it's still in the little can of the cheese. So that can supports the cheese, and we go in to get the cheese, but we never touch the can. But the can is there anyways. We go to the bathroom, we put something in the can, we flush it away, it never comes back. But what does come back from above is the spirit water that fills up in the back tank behind your toilet. And then we're all ready for life again. As it went around on the Spanish train, what went out came back in. It went out with one thing, came back with another. Isn't that what Spanish train is all about? So Philadelphia, PH is actually F for business, because they use the F, they use the P, but they don't put F in certain words because it has nothing to do with any kind of business. F is the business of this word. The PH is the 1/6, the 16th letter in the alphabet, which means the one spirit connected to the 6 islands, and that's opposite sides of the dice. The H is an 8. The only way you can get the H or the 8, and in fact 8 and 6, which is man and heaven's number, have more possibilities in craps or on dice than any other number. 1 and 5 is 6. 2 and 4 is 6. 3 and 3 is Christ, 6. 1, 2, 3, and now you reverse it. You got 3 and 3, you got 6. From the 8, okay, you have 2 and 6. You have 3 and 5. You have 4 and 4. 8. Reverse it backwards. You have 3 and 3 and 3 and 3. You have Christ, 33.33. So 33.33 would actually be, unless Trinity, 1111. 1111 is actually Christ, because we see the Trinity. Okay. Now what we do now, okay, is in the heavens we have the 888, and 888 is 1888, and that's the lines we use for telephones. If you take a line going in of 188 and the line going out of 888, you have 1776, independence of the United States. But the telephone needed to connect from one end to the other end, so it had one wire there, connected up to one with 2 parts of a telephone, one wire connected up to you with 2 parts of a telephone, 33. Christ again. We're all wired up. 3 by 3 is 9, by 3 is 27, by 3 is the 81 worlds, and equals to 9 times 9, which is 81 again. Add the 16 onto it for the spirit of man, you have 97. 9 times 7 is 63. 63 is 9, which gives you 72 God. Take away the 9, you have the 63 moons on Jupiter. And the reason there's 60 moons on Saturn is because man's number is 6 times the 10 commandments. You have the 60 moons on Jupiter. Pluto has the 3 moons which you don't see. They say it's 2 moons. So would you count Jupiter as the stick and the 2 moons, which is the Y in Trinity? So Pluto, as the 9th planet, becomes the Y, because I and Y interchange, because 1 means 1 and the Y is the split between the 1 ones. So you end up with 111. So now if you multiply the one Spirit of God by 111, you get 1776. If you add a 16 to it, you get 1792. Now 111 times 2 between you and your angel in your head, you get 222. 222 by 8 is 1776. So since you did that by 8, why not multiply the 8 by 2? You get 16 again. 6 and 1 is 7. Or add the 16 to 1776 and you get 1792. 1792, okay, in which we found in 111. So let's multiply it by you and your angel, you get 222. 222 years, okay, from the year of independence of 1776, plus the inauguration of 16 years, plus the 222 years, you're in the year 2014. And everything is supposed to change by October 14th. But what's going to happen now is instead of Independence Day being on July 4th, because in the new inauguration of the Spirit, okay, everything ends in 2014 and restarts in 2016. That means the Spirit of God that year. It begins again. 16 years later, 1 Spirit, 6 man, you connected the islands. It's a new life here on Earth. Hold on a second. Let me think. I'm thinking. You don't mind if I think a little bit, because I'd forgotten what I was saying, and I'm out of cigarettes. I'm out of cigarettes. Oh, I found something. Look at this cigarette. No filter. This is heaven. A cigarette with no filter. You get the whole taste on this side and the whole taste on this side. The taste is in the whole. It's in the bubble. The savor is in the bubble. But on meats, it's a little bit different. It's in the strands. So what we have is 222. And 222 from 1792 is 2014. Now what I'm saying, what's going to happen is because the inauguration, okay, before that, which is in 2015, is going to end up changing the independence of the United States to the independent of the universe of states. Because the universe of states, what happens is, in order to change the fantasy around, like Fantasy Orange, what you do is you add 9 days to it. So July 4th, instead of being July 4th, it'll now be July 13th. And I'll be very surprised if I look it up that July 13th wouldn't pass exactly, okay, on the date of my brother's birthday of 1962. In which the center part of 1962, or anybody in the 60s, it says what's going around comes around. 1960s is the Spanish train, 9 and 6. It has a straight line arrow to go around, and you only run on one track. One track. It's a one-track mind, monopoly. Where does Parker Brothers come from? Then you'll finally find the answer. We gotta tie up everything. You see one kind of writing here, they use the same kind of writing there. It's in a business casino, or it's in a business, and anything on a business is on a different level. Because businesses are known to be ISO. ISO 9002 is Spanish train 209. So ISO 1 is 109, and that's another Spanish train. Okay? There's 2 kinds of Spanish train. I like to call it the French chain or the French toast. With all those little holes, you roll all around. It has full of holes on the toast. You put a ball on it, and it ain't going through. And even if you did put a tiny ball on the toast, it'll go through, and it'll get caught in the webs inside the bread. You see, it's the bread of everything. Where do we got this? You see that bread? Okay? That bread, okay, over there is the hole. This muffin goes right in this hole. This muffin, it's not an apple. think you're a woman and you have this in your mouth. Oh, oh, oh. This muffin is creation. It rises every time it gets into the hot oven, and it fits inside to the donut. Because on the outside it represents man's nut. On the inside, it's man's hole in his head. So he has to stick the hole in the head right in here, which is your penis, okay, or PMS for a female, and it goes in here, and the end is usually big over here, so it gets stuck. Now you can't pull it out. It sticks in. It's a connection of our wiring, which represents our penis, and it's all about the shape of how it goes in the connection and why it doesn't come out. So sometimes we don't need the lubrication, but if we don't use the lubrication, then it can't turn around and wiggle around inside, making sure that it's really snug. So our human anatomy is made to represent that style. Before I go on, I like to put a picture behind me when I... What does it look? Ah, thank God. I got another brick in the wall. I got the transfers over here. You see the way they transfer from each side? And see this right here? That's a Spirit of God green. Okay, it's in the eastern Quebec. Let me see. You see what happens right next to my head, right here? The green cross, the juniper bird, okay, which is all the colors. She turns and turns. One side's a wing, split wing, blue and red. The other side's a split wing, blue and green. Inside, the patches and the holes is all the same color because they're working for the same business. And up here is the pop, okay? And then you have the Jewish star, and you have the walls. And the walls, okay, all have to do with the colors of life. And then you transfer onto the other side. You have, I'm going to do this way. Hold on, I'm lighting a cigarette. Okay, now you see this here? The Magen David trapped inside a sea. Splitting of the sea. There's this all around it, which means communication. And there's a door over here, but the door is open. And you see on the outside, the orange is God's Son and the blue is Beta World. Now it points to upside down juniper bird. Now you see the same bird here, okay, as you see over here. Over here she's going up and all over the place because it's communication. This part of here is the transfer, where now you see the two wings are the same color and the center has become the same color. Now your stories match. They have reached the same color of honesty. You've been telling the truth. So what happens now is you have one eye on one side of the truth and one eye on the other side of the truth. And above the truth of all, okay, with a blue line, it protects the sun, which is in the yellow and in the white. In the yellow, or yellowish green, you get the pink and black. The colors do not change because the black line stops one color running from the other. On the other side, you have the purity of the white, okay, and that diamond shape that goes up. There's no point connected at the bottom because there's no point being connected. You get connected in life. All those people, those exteriors, this, they go away after. Okay, they become inside of us. All the information, the way we got, instead of these points be on the outside, these points would be on the inside because we collected it through our life, the information of knowledge. Anyways, thank you very much for the post. I hope you have a good day, afternoon. Bring on the good life because time has come. The end is near and the beginning is not far off. Isn't it so great? We come into a world scared to go out and we're scared of something to come in, and now something's come in and we're not sure what it is, but it goes into us and it's going to go out and it's going to change all of us. And it's going to change us in a drastic way because when you start thinking differently, you start acting differently. Then everybody's a little bit of bipolar and nobody understands, but me? Not me. Whatever happens to me is going to be different, but I'm going to learn from it because I already went through that bipolar stuff. I don't like to say I beat it because you don't beat it. It's a connection. It's a connection to the other side of your mind that lifts up into the air. It makes you different from everybody else. When your one ball is hanging and the other is not, you can lift them and bang them together and the vibration will tell you I got one ball in my head and one ball down by my single eye, and in between is me, my heart, my liver, and all the vibrations go round and round like a Spanish train until we learn one day what this strain is all about, because we have a strain on the brain in this world about everything that happens, and at the end we cry like shit because everybody else dies. So we stood alive because we have to face up to who we are. And then that day when we're relaxed and we thought enough and we're no longer thinking of that, then we pass on. So have a good day. Raphael 7286. We're grinding it down in sandpaper, and we're going to find out the myth of Zazareth. What did happen to Moses? Who is Jesus? What happened to Noah? Were the 2x2 animals actually going into a laboratory inside a ship? He only needed more than 2x2. He worked all alone, but that was okay. The oceans rocked, and it rocked the test tube babies to come out into the ocean. So he asked the bird, is it the ocean all over? Well, why would he ask a bird if the ocean's all over? Move your boat. The boat is moving. Won't it move into land? The boat must move into land because this life is tilted. So he tilted to one side, he tilted to the other. When it was all over, it tilted back, and all the water went down the drain. Because on one side, there's no drain in your bathtub. So if you lift the bath on an angle, nothing goes out. But if you lift the bath the other way, it goes out, and it's got a breather hole to go out. So that's a passage of our mind is going through the toilet and through the tube of the bath. And not only that, we become rain men because in the shower, we get rained on